You guys, filming YouTube videos is not like riding a bike. I took so much time off that then when I came back and I had to really kind of get myself up to speed watching that video back, I was just kind of cringing. I felt like I didn't even really show the cards very well, and now I'm giving this another shot. So thank you for bearing with me, and I really hope to get back up to the quality that I think that you guys expect. I've got something kind of weird to share with you guys today, and has an interesting backstory and maybe some words of warning. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and open what is in this package, which you can see I got from Amazon. Now, I had seen a deck. You guys know I live for rare decks. Rare decks, especially old ones, really occult ones, esoteric things. That's what I really, really love. And I had run across this deck years ago, and it was on my wish list, and my wish list is long, and it's those things that I'm always trying to see if I can find them for not an insane amount of money, because a lot of times, rare decks are expensive, but then you find them where they're not being offered for that much, either because the person doesn't really know what they've got has a higher value. Maybe they're just not a gouger and they're just willing to let it go for a lesser price, or maybe they live in a country where the exchange rate isn't inflated. So this is the deck that I was trying to get my hands on. It's called Oracle of the Radiant Sun. It's not actually a tarot deck. You can see it's an oracle deck, and it's an astrology deck. And I thought this looked really, really cool. I loved the artwork, and astrology is not something that I think I had an oracle deck of that was specifically just for astrology. Now, astrology is a part of tarot. Those two things go together. But as much as there's an astrological aspect within the tarot, I really wanted to get my hands on this deck. And it was long time out of print. This is a deck that was made by a couple, Carolyn Smith and John Astrop. And they actually have another deck that's a moon oracle. And it's a little bit easier to get your hands on that one. Well, now here's the end of the story, is that this deck ended up becoming reprinted. So it was on my wish list forever and ever, but it was always insanely expensive. It was like hundreds of dollars, and I just wasn't willing to pay that much. But at one point on eBay, I had an eBay alert for all those decks I'm looking for, and it showed up, and it was still expensive. I think that it might have even been around, I don't know, $80 or something like that, but it was still much cheaper than I'd seen it. And so I went ahead and I ordered it. And it was coming from Ecuador. And I remember after the original purchase, I think I was so excited to get it that I just jumped on it and ordered it. And then even before it arrived, and it took a while because it was out of the country purchase, I started having second thoughts of, wait a second, what did I actually order? There was some wording in the description that seemed strange to me. And as I looked back at the listing, I noticed that there was only one or two other items for sale from this seller. And I normally never buy from a seller that doesn't have really good reviews, a high, almost 5-star rating, and lots of sales. And I've been burned on eBay enough to know you got to pay attention to that stuff. I mean, I'm not new, so I don't know why I just overlooked it. I was blinded by the oracle, but I started to think I got ripped off with this. And then in a couple more days, all of that person's other listings were gone and their account was deleted. And so then I thought, okay, yeah, something's definitely up. But strangely enough, this package did eventually arrive, and it looked exactly like this. I haven't opened it yet. So it's come like this. It's in a bag. All I did was I did take it out of this bag. Well, it says on here, "Dear postal customer, we sincerely regret the damage to your mail during handling by the postal service. We hope this incident did not inconvenience you." So basically what happened was something happened to this package. I guess it got torn. It seems like it's actually somewhat in decent condition. But anyways, that's how it arrived on my doorstep. And as you can see, it has all of the stamps from Ecuador on there. So we're going to go ahead and see what it is that I bought here. You guys. All right. So wrapped in rope, as most legitimate tarot and oracle decks come. Honestly, I kind of live for it. It's very occult. So here is the deck. I can already see this is one of the cards. And what I'm thinking that this is just a counterfeit version of the deck. I don't know. Maybe this is the actual deck, but it's definitely an interesting package. And now, since I got this, it was so funny because I would say it was maybe less than a month after ordering this. Imagine, this deck was on my wish list for years. I finally go ahead and bite the bullet and buy one. It turns out to be likely counterfeit, and within a month the deck's re-released, and I was able to buy one on Amazon for $29.99. Now I actually sell this deck at my school, and it's just so funny that I've had mine sitting unopened this whole time while my students are purchasing it, so I figured I better just go ahead and make this video. So first of all, we're gonna open this deck, and I have to say, it's just like a very unique, riches seems oddly appropriate. And here we have Saturn and Capricorn. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. This also looks like it has kind of a pixelated, it's not like a very, very clear printing. Now, astrology is what I consider to be one of the four main Hermetic sciences, along with theurgy and tarot and alchemy. Maybe I need to stop saying this because I always do say that astrology is kind of the one that's not my forte. Now, I don't feel that it's the one that I'm the strongest in. I mean, definitely I would say that theurgy and tarot are my main two in the Hermetic arts and sciences that I'm the strongest in. Theurgy being the ceremonial practice, the invocation of the divine. Now, here we go. Here's the deck, and counterfeit or not, these are cool cards. This is the first one. Here you see Aries. You also see the sun. So I don't know what's going on here because this is the sign of Aries. The sun does not rule Aries. I think that the sun might be exalted in Aries. But see, this is a good example when I say astrology is not my strong suit. If it was, I would know if that was true or not. And you know who would know? Our school astrologer, A.M. Penn, because she is the one that is really, this is her specialty. Here we see Aries with Mercury, and I see what's going on now. We actually see every planet and every sign. Aren't these cards totally beautiful? Now, again, I'm not sure what's the story with this deck, but I will say the cards are super thin. This is the back. Well, the front of the cards looks pretty legit. The back of the cards, you can't barely even tell what's printed on there. It's not picking up on camera, and trust me, it's not picking up in real life either. I can tell that it's supposed to be, I think, that sun from the front there, but it's pretty clear that these are I would hope that these cards are better quality, but maybe they won't be. Maybe they'll be exactly the same. So what we see here is every sign with all of the planets, and it looks like we go right into Taurus next. So let me see, I wanted to see if the outer planets are here. So there's 7 classical planets, and there's 7 cards of Aries. So what I expect is that we're probably not going to see the outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, but it does look like we have all of the classical planets in each sign. Before we go any further, let's just go ahead and open the official deck. And like I said, it's available now. If you wanted to order it from the school directly, you can. Of course, you know, it's going to cost you a little bit more. Let's be honest. You're going to probably find it cheaper on Amazon. And if that's the case, be my guest. It all depends on, you know, where you want your money to go. We don't mark it up. We just sell it at the retail value. And honestly, something you should know is that retailers that sell books and cards that come alongside with books have the smallest amount of markup of anything that I know of in retail. Now that I have a store at the school and I'm aware of how much things get marked up, a lot of times the retail price that you pay for something is 3 times what the retailer paid for it, because you've got to think you're also going to cover all of their expenses, including paying their staff and paying the rent and the utilities, and even things like the packaging and the bags and all of the other things that cost so much to run a business. Well, on books, the markup is usually only 40%. So you do not make a lot of money. I don't even know how bookstores stay in business, and unfortunately, a lot of them don't. And part of that's due to places like Amazon. So let's go ahead and take a look here. And I will say I bought this before the school opened, and it's been sitting around that long. Does that mean I don't use Amazon? No, but if I can find something somewhere else first, then I go there. All right, so there's a really beautiful book, which obviously I didn't get when I got that, the Ecuadorian version. And I just turned to Venus in Gemini, and the card says, flattery. Venus is love, Gemini is mental awareness, and it has the god Janus, who is the two-faced god facing in 2 different directions. And I believe that Janus is the god that stands at the crossroads and sort of looks in both ways. The god Janus, who is 2 faces, look toward the past and the future. Here it symbolizes the Gemini quality of talking to one person while listening to another's conversation. The spreading plant suggests the multiplicity of the Venus and Gemini nature. So I love that there's a lot of explanation about each card, because unlike tarot decks where I usually don't even take the time, I know this is not a wonderful quality. I think you should take the time to read the book that comes with a deck, but I usually just start working with the cards. This is a deck that I think I'll find useful. Okay, so this is where the deck starts, and I'm gonna try and find the same card in the other deck so we can do a side-by-side comparison. Already you can see, look at the back of the cards. Clearly this is how the back was intended to look. Wow, now that these are side-by-side, you can see a total difference. Now this is the counterfeit version, and this is the actual printed version. One thing that you're going to notice right away is that this version, the colors are much more saturated. So you might look at it at first and go, wow, these cards look a little bit brighter. And at first glance they do, but you've completely lost all of the detail. So if this will focus on there, you can see that the outlines are kind of fuzzy. And on this card, you can see how actually crisp they are. There's no comparison as far as the pixelation and the quality. See all of these little tiny lines that are here, this cross hatching, it's totally lost in this card. And as far as the card stock goes, as I said, these are very flimsy, and these are also not thick cards, but they definitely are of a higher quality card stock than what we see over here. And like I said, of course, the back, there's really no comparison. But I can definitely tell that these were copies. So I'm going to put these aside. What do I do with decks that I don't use or that I have copies of? Well, sometimes I would give them away, but I probably won't give this deck away. What I'll probably end up using it for, look how cool this one is. Manipulation, aka what's been done to this deck in this reprint. But isn't the imagery totally beautiful? But I'll probably use these for thank you notes, greeting cards, art projects. I think that that's a really, really nice way to repurpose decks that you're not using anymore, bookmarks. Now, rather than the cards being in the order that we saw before, now we see them in the order of the planets. So we're not looking at all the Aries cards. We're looking at all the sun cards and going through each of the 12 zodiac signs. We have the sun in Cancer, resourcefulness. That sounds accurate. My little sister is a Cancer. She's very resourceful. And sun in Leo. That's my sign. I'm a Leo. There's Virgo. So this would be attuned to your birth sign. What your sun sign is what you know your zodiac sign to be. Enthusiasm, that's A.M. Pen, our astrologer. Everybody who works at the school is a fire sign. Isn't that funny? Either Aries or Leo or Sagittarius. That's the final sign in the zodiac, which is Pisces. And it's kind of interesting because it's sort of feels like a final card too, right? With the sun going down there. And then we should be moving into lunar cards. Now, your moon sign, that's the sign that the moon was in at the time of your birth. This is very beautiful, isn't it? So the moon in Taurus here. And it said that your moon sign describes a little bit less your outer facing personality and a little bit more who you are in your private time, who you are when you are kind of feeling your feelings. It's kind of your more inner nature, the part of yourself that you might not show externally. These are just gorgeous. I love the colors. They're very kind of, I don't know if it's like a neoclassical. They're Egyptian, they're Greco-Roman, but they're really, really beautiful. This has these sigils on here. They've got an interesting combination because look at this key. This looks, I don't know, at first I thought Egyptian, but it might be something else. And then there seems to be these standing stones down here. So we see the moon in Aquarius. That's actually where my moon is in my natal chart. And I love that we've got these keywords on there as well. And the mercurial cards, there is Mercury, also known as Hermes, known as Thoth in Egypt. And here's the bull that would correspond with Taurus. Where Mercury is in your natal chart is never going to be more than one sign over from your sun sign. This is a very cool Eastern looking deity. And we also have some angel sigils there, a seal of Gabriel. Let me go ahead and look this one up in the book. They definitely have some alchemical imagery. I'm just seeing now that these are also numbered. Now the number 4 is going to correspond, I'm thinking, to the fact that Cancer is the 4th sign. If you start with Aries and you count off, Cancer would be 4th. Okay, Mercury and Cancer. The 3 discs are symbols representing the pentacle, the seal, and the angel of the moon. Floating above a starred cloud, a meditating 4-armed figure holds 2 lotus flowers, symbolizing intuitive and inspired creativity. All right, well, it's not really telling me who this deity is, it's just saying a meditating 4-armed figure. One of the things that kind of frustrates me is when the book just describes what the picture is. You've heard me rant about this before. Like, yes, I can see the picture. I don't need you to describe that there's a person seated on here. Tell me why you picked that, what that has to do with intuition or with Mercury and Cancer. But that's just the little description here. There's much more. And it says, personal for Mercury Cancerians, thoughts and feelings are inseparable. And you can imagine that because Cancer is a water sign and water signs are all about feelings and emotions. And Mercury is very much a planet of communication, so it's a planet of the mind. So thoughts and feelings. This card describes someone who makes decisions based on current feelings or on how he or she felt the last time the situation arose. For people with this planet and sign aspect, past experience plays an important part in reactions to the current situation. Mentally and emotionally comparing life events in this way is a constant protective reaction. When this card is dealt, it always refers to traditional family ways of thinking and ideas based on early childhood conditioning. The thoughts and comments of close family and friends will be of great importance to the subject of the reading. So it's really talking about using this in a divinatory way. And I just can imagine that these cards could be used in so many other interesting ways besides just divination, besides just doing readings. I think that you could use these as study guides. I think that you could use them with numerology. Now this card says isolation. Is this the card of being in still the end of our quarantine? These are the Saturnian cards as we get to the end, and we can see, that's cool, the labyrinth there, right? And the fortress. So I'm really excited about these. I think they're really beautiful. I kind of don't mind that I have this second deck you don't look at them too hard, you know, they look all right. And the truth is, I paid way more for this rip-off deck than I did for the actual deck, but I just never would have expected that it was suddenly going to come back into print. So lesson learned, if there is ever a deck that you really want, do the research. I don't want to support companies that are selling knockoff decks. I don't think this deck was made by a company because it had no box. I haven't seen, I mean, hello. So I hope you guys learned a little something. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. It's a really, really cool, interesting deck. Like I said, I really love the artwork. I'll go ahead and pull one for you guys, just final little message from the guides, and we'll just see if there's anything today that the guides feel would be important for us to see. And here is our message. And the message is organization. It's Mercury in Capricorn. Capricorn's an earth sign, and we see all of the livestock there, and we see the wheat, and we also see Mercury up here. We can recognize Mercury by the winged helmet. And organization. All right, I think that we can all take that message and apply it to the part of our life that we know we need to go ahead and get ourselves organized. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining me once again. So much has happened. As I said at the beginning of my last video, I will, one of these days, take time to catch you guys up. But please go to my website, 22teachings.com. I am teaching all of my classes online right now, meaning that if you want to join and come take tarot classes with me, I'm teaching advanced tarot classes every Sunday. My big 9-week tarot course, I'm offering it for the first time ever live online. It starts at the end of August. It has a prerequisite, which is Magic Fundamentals, a 2-day intensive, but there's a bunch of other stuff going on too. There's free classes. There's lots of information on the website, lots of resources for you guys. So I hope to see you there. And other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.